Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the Ask Video Mail for the week of June 30th, 2014. Welcome to the site, you new members, and welcome back to the old members. The Ask Video Mail is your chance to get your question, character animation, or performance answered in a video just like this one, guys. But I can't answer your question if you don't send it to me, so please send it to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, believe me. It is the best way to get the most out of this site. Things are rolling, and I want to let you guys know first. I'm going to do a newsletter, sort of a video mail. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I can't English today. I'm going to send out a mail with a video, letting everybody know. But I want you guys to know first that collabs, I was thinking about it, and I don't have a lot of on-site collaborators this go-around, and that's not good. I really want to have a lot of people. I want the studio to be full this year, like it was last year. All of the collaborators are all online, so I want to let you guys know that I'm going to drop the price. The on-site collaboration price is going to be the same as the online. So anyone that's in LA, and hopefully some of the people who are signed up for the online who are in LA, and there is a couple, will reconsider, maybe come into the studio. It's good to have a lot of energy here. It's good to have a lot of people, just movement, you know, turn around, ask someone on your left, ask someone on your right, and also obviously the special guests. It's a lot more fun when they have you know, people to play off of, people to react to. So there's that. But at any rate, I just want to let you guys know that first. Please go to collabs.arconics.com, collabs.arconics.com, and check it out. Okay, appreciate it. Check out this week's question as well. It's a goodie. Well, you're not the only person that has this problem. I guarantee you it is super common. Basically, the rule of thumb with eyelines is that you need to always kind of be very careful about where in the geography of the eye your iris is sitting. So even if an eyeline looks technically correct, it can be wrong. It can be off. And it's just a matter of learning where those locations are in the eye and letting your iris kind of play within those areas or sort of play around those areas smartly. Okay. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at a character, and I'll describe a couple things. I've gone over this a few times, I think, with eyelines, but this part of it bears repeating. The first thing is that the corners of the eyes themselves, the very, 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 very corners, those areas, no matter where the character is actually looking, those areas sort of dictate to an audience that the character is looking as far over as possible, okay? As far as they possibly can. Now, your head direction plays a lot into that. So let me talk about what that means. Yes, I do want a sphere, actually. Okay, so we've got these spheres going back in space, and I just want to make this little cone right here. Okay, so we have this cone. Now, if we are going to have this character, his eye line looking at the cone, one way you do that is you just move this over, right? Well, he's not actually looking at the cone, is he? Look where that thing is. But your head direction actually makes it so that it looks like he's looking at the cone. Okay, why is that? It's because of that property that I was talking about. How the corner, let me see here. I don't want to see all these eyes or all these secondary controls. Hold on a second. There we go. Oops, and I don't want secondary either. Face, hide, iRig. I wonder if this is going to get hid with the iRig. I don't know. Hide. Yes. Okay. So I'll do this. Just stand by 1 sec. Is this moving in world? How is that not? It's weird. That's not a curve or a piece of geometry? I don't know what it is. Let me just constrain this. Okay. And now we can hide that. Okay. So now we can see. So what that property is that, like I was saying, the corner of the eye, if you want someone to be looking like they're looking at something that is cheated, that is over to their side or even behind them, what you do is you just make sure that that iris is in the far corner of the eye. Now, if I turn his head, I'm going to do this on screen for you in a second, you'll see. If I turn his head towards the thing and then use the eye target to make it a lot more realistic and a lot less cheated, does not look like he's looking at it. Okay? So let me show you. Let me show you what that means. So he's looking right here, right? So let's just duplicate that so we know. All right? He's looking right here. And let me make a new camera as well so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's my camera of him looking at this thing kind of, you know, almost over his shoulder, right? Now, if I rotate his head more towards it and even make this less cheated, now he's not looking at it. Now he's looking past it, right? Do you see that? You would think that the character, as he sort of turns more towards it, it would look like he's looking at it more, but it's the opposite, all right? Because of that effect, because his irises are not in the corners, okay? It just straight up does not work, okay? And if you go realistic, he's actually looking at it, well, you've lost the irises, and so that's just ugly eye posing. So you get a problem. So I've directed animators on numerous occasions to actually take their character, rotate them away from the thing that they're looking at, rotate their head away from the thing they're looking at, and then send those irises right back as stuck in the corners as they possibly can. Et voila, it looks like you have the right eye line. So some of that, excuse me, some of that has to do with the corners. And I bet you some of the problem that you're having is that the character, see, look, now it looks like he could actually be looking at that thing. Isn't that magic? Isn't that crazy? A lot of it has to boils down to knowing where in sort of the geography of the eye your iris can be before it starts like telegraphing the wrong thing. Okay? And again, you can even have a character looking at something behind him. Right? Looks like he's looking up at this. If the eyelids weren't auto-closing, we would have a little bit of an easier thing. Let me turn back on. Sorry, let me turn that back on. Show. Okay. Now, I just did the second piece of advice that I was going to give you. So look at this. So you have, let me just set a key on these and then move them back. Okay. I know why. I know why. I know why that wasn't working. The damn hotkeys. Maybe I should just change the hotkeys. I never have a good time with this. Okay. All right. So here's the next thing. When your eye lines, when you're using your eye lines, what you have to keep in mind is that humans, your audience, watching this, hopefully you're not animating for dogs, humans watching your animation can tell in one frame if the irises are not really in the same geography of the eye. They're not really in the same place, okay? And what that means is that even though this is the eyeballs themselves rotated the exact same amount within the eye, that the image sort of where those irises are located is just not working. Okay, so you have to also go in and sort of correct for that amount of variation that's in the corners, because the corners are not the same, are they, right? The corner of the eye on the inside, it does not shape the same as the corner of the eye on the outside. But with the animation, it's not like live action, because obviously in live action, we don't cheat eye lines. We look directly at whatever it is. In animation, though, normally because the whites of the eyes in animation are normally so bright and the irises are so dark and they're rendered so crisply that there's kind of like an emphasis, and the audience's eyes are drawn there. Anyway, so what you have to do is you have to clean up almost the silhouette of your eyes. If you take the iris to be like a big black dark object and you squint your eyes and look at this, then you can see that there's like a sliver of light over the top of it, and there's a little bit of daylight coming through on the side here, and this one's like almost buried. So this doesn't actually look that it is as cheated looking over to the left here, looking at this ball over his shoulder, as much as the corrected one, boop, right here, which actually has this one brought back over to the right, and this one sunk a little bit more over to the left. Do you see that? Watch the controllers themselves. They actually spread apart. This one goes over here, this one goes over here. Watch again. Isn't that interesting? This is technically further over to the left, but boop, there we go. Now it actually looks like he's looking over his shoulder and staring at this ball back here. All right, all cheated, but all totally works. That's number 2. The third thing I want to talk about is focus. Okay, what you have to do is when you're dealing with an eye line that doesn't have to do with cheating. Normally, all eye lines are cheated. I'm not sure if I've ever done like a real eye line ever, but that being besides the point. With what focus means is that your eyes, is this like, oh, okay. Your eyes, see, this character doesn't have, or maybe he does. Let me just see really quickly. Aha, I didn't use the numpad that time. Hi. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, so if you move him, most rigs are like this, where they rig the character's eyeballs so that that moving it in Z doesn't affect the aim of the eyeball, and that's fine. But if you're looking at something, this is a 1,000-yard stare, right? Think about it. Your two eyes have to focus on the same object, right? So if you are shooting lasers out of your eyes, those two lasers will both hit the exact same point at anything you're looking at. So it means if something's close, you're going to cross your eyes. If it's far away, they're going to go more like this. As infinitely far away as they could ever get is the more parallel they are. So if you're dealing with a rig like this one that has it set up like this, which is fine and normal and whatever, this is a 1,000-yard stare. So especially if he's talking to another character that's standing right in front of him. Let me show you something. Does it look like he's looking at that, what is this, a cone? Does it look like it? No, it doesn't at all. It looks like he's looking right through the cone, even though the cone is right in the way of that eye target. Does it look like he's looking at the cone? Not at all. On rigs that have this all set up, you gotta bring it in, and believe me, the audience will know the difference. Okay? Let me just key these. Oops. Key all of this. And delete. Good. Okay. And now let me just zero these. There we go. Here we go. Ready? Look at this difference. Subtle, but super important. Okay? Now it looks like he's looking at that. Before, after. Before, after. Staring right through it, looking right at it. You see that subtle difference? Okay? So know about those areas. Know about the geography, where the iris is. As soon as you start going towards the corner, you are in the territory where you need to be very careful about what the audience is what he's supposed to be looking at, because the audience will take very black and white sort of extreme cues from that eye line. Okay? And then second thing is take a look at the sort of the composition of the eye, and work with each eye individually to make it so that it reads as one sort of you know, brought together whole. And then lastly, think about focus. A lot of rigs have that 1,000-yard stare, and the eye targets are not focused together. In fact, probably a good rule of thumb is to save your rig file with those two. Test your characters, see if you move it back and forth, if the eyes are going like that. And then if it's not, maybe a good rule of thumb would be to just take those two controllers and put them together, and then save your rig, so that you know when you reference it and you're starting a scene that it's going to be your character's going to have like focus on it. In fact, look at this when I do this. I might save this rig like this, because, like, you know, you see him actually looking at something. Look, there's on the bridge of his nose, and then as I move it away, see it goes away. But look at the difference between it being in the middle of this cone right here, and just like a little bit further away. You know, that's a very tiny difference. I'm sure the pixels are just slightly dancing on this video right now for you guys, but the difference is extremely clear to an audience. Okay, that was a great question. Please send more questions. I love them. Check out, tell your friends about collabs. I'd love to have some more people here in the studio for this year's program, and looking forward to working with you guys. Keep on rocking on. Okay, thanks a lot. Rock on.